Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for joining me today in this sleep hacks video. I've wanted to make this video for a really long time. I've actually suffered with sleep problems my whole life, and they've changed as I've gotten older and my circumstances have changed. Sleep is so important. There's studies now that are coming out that's showing us that lack of sleep or lack of quality of sleep is actually detrimental to our health as we age. There's all sorts of medical reports coming out showing that it can lead to heart disease, cancers. When your body's not well rested enough, it's inflamed and therefore it can't repair and regenerate as well as it should be. So it's just such an interesting area to research. This video is basically going to cover a load of hacks that I have tried and tested that have worked for me in order to ensure a better night's sleep and wake up feeling more well rested. Some of them you may have heard of, some of them might be totally new to you and you want to give them a go. We all know how we feel when we don't get a good night's sleep, like we feel groggy, sometimes your face can look quite puffy, you can have dark shadows under your eyes, and obviously your motor and neuron performance is not as good as it is after a really good night's sleep and you're feeling well rested. Those are like the most obvious and most recognizable ways we feel after we've not been getting enough sleep. But like I said, the implications of long-term lack of quality sleep is just so scary that I've made it my duty in life to find out what works best for me. So as humans on this planet Earth, we are all inherently different, and often our sleep problems are different too. So today I'm going to touch on a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the years that really help me get a better night's sleep and therefore wake up feeling much more rested and more energy, brighter eyed, and just feeling so much better. So my personal sleep problems have always changed as I've grown. Some of you guys might relate to these. Very early on, I was always such a light sleeper, and that's still very much the case, but it's not the main problem now. And I would literally wake at any sound around me, like any sound of the door opening, someone coming into the room, the weather change outside, if someone was in the bed next to me and they shuffled or they snored or whatever, then bing, that's it. I'm awake and I can't help it. Like, I'm just the lightest sleeper in the world. Now, as I've grown, I think I've actually become a little bit more relaxed, and it's not so much the noises around me. I can actually sleep a lot better and a lot deeper through sort of noises around me. The problem now is the fact that I moved in with my boyfriend back in Feb, and we now share a bed every single night. And some of you will be like, well, what's wrong with that? But then I know a lot of you out there can relate to that, because sharing a bed with someone else is actually like so annoying. I mean, who wants to share a tiny square of space when you're trying to get your sleep on through the night undisturbed? Like, they have their own agenda, they have their own sleep patterns, their own sleep behaviors, and it's not so much that Nate is super annoying to sleep next to. He's really not. He's actually just kind of keeps himself to himself. It's more the fact that I can't consciously relax when I have someone next to me just there, like just being a living, breathing, sleeping human. I've always had problems relaxing, so that's kind of my issue now. So I've actually, for the last year, been looking into ways in order to make my sleeping arrangement with my partner, because, you know, we're not going to have separate bedrooms. That's just not going to happen. Better, because if all goes well, we'll be living with each other for the rest of our lives. So what I've discovered this year is that in order to have a great night's sleep, actually bedtime preparation starts quite a few hours before you actually step into your bed at night. There's a load of things that you should try and avoid, and then also things that you can do in order to make yourself sort of like mentally and physically ready for a night's sleep, therefore preparing your body to almost go to sleep and accept that that's the behavior or activity you're about to do. So number one, and this is super common, and I know that a lot of guys suffer from this more than women actually, but exercising too close to your bedtime can actually be really disruptive on your sleep. So when you're exercising, you're obviously, your heart's pumping, blood is going around you, it's delivering oxygen to all your cells, which is exactly what we want when we're exercising. But actually that's going to bring your body into more of an active state, which is not what you want a few hours before bedtime. It's also going to raise your body temperature, and naturally when we fall asleep we want our basal body temperature to drop slightly, and that's going to get us into a better sleeping state. Nate does football twice a week after work, and without fail, every time he comes home, he gets like really dancey hot feet, and he just really struggles to switch off and wind down when he's had a late football game. Same thing with working out. Like if I work out past 5 o'clock, then I'm like kind of like pumped with adrenaline, and I get that new wave of energy, and it actually makes it a lot harder for me to wind down earlier on in the evening. So if you're going to exercise, try and do it in the daytime and have like a cut-off point around 3. Obviously a lot of people work till late, so if you get it in the morning, then even better. Or if you really did want to do some exercise in the evening, something like a yoga flow would be a lot better. So I'm a big coffee drinker. Excuse me while I just, you see the size of my mug? Oh. Caffeine. Most people I know love a cup of coffee in the morning. In fact, I know several people that drink coffee all the way through the day. My dad's the type of person who can have a coffee at 10 p.m. at night after dinner and still fall fast asleep. Good for you. I am not that person. I am quite caffeine sensitive, and I actually would love to be drinking coffee after dinner, but it's just not feasible for me. The caffeine injection that late at night just keeps me up and restless and just makes my body like wired. I've actually implemented a 3 p.m. caffeine cutoff rule, which means I do not have any caffeine after 3 p.m. every single day. Everyone's different. I know some people have them at 1, some people can have their last coffee at 5 and still be okay, but be mindful if you are a coffee drinker and you're drinking it after 3 or 1, then maybe that could be the reason why you're not settling into sleep mode as soon as you want to. Which also leads me to alcohol. Often people think, oh, I actually fall asleep like that once I've had a drink. Alcohol's a bit of a funny one. It is a sedative, so it does actually make you feel more drowsy, but once it wears off, you're suddenly a lot more alert. So if you ever feel like you can go to bed straight away after a glass of wine or a tumbler of whiskey, but then you're waking up and you're not feeling that refreshed, it's because once the alcohol's worn off, your body actually wakes up a little bit more. So if you are drinking before bed, then just be mindful of that. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water before you do go to sleep. So just try and flush it out of your system sooner. I'm not going to tell you not to drink alcohol. I love having a glass of wine with dinner, so and it does make me unwind as well, but just be wary of that, especially on like big binges. Like when I've gone out and I've had a lot to drink the next day and I've had maybe like a 10-hour sleep, I still wake up feeling like, oh my god, like I feel like I've slept maybe 5 minutes. And that's because alcohol really does disrupt sleep, even though at first it can feel like it's actually sending us to sleep. I've actually devised a mindful bedtime routine, which I reach for when I just feel like my energy's running a little bit low, I've not had the best night's sleep in the week, maybe I'm like super busy, my schedule's just crazy. I try and employ this when I just need to be grounded and I need to make sure that I am going to get the most out of those 8 hours that I am asleep. I actually have it here and I kind of like pin it up on the wall when I need to remind myself things I need to observe before I go to bed. Often we're told that we shouldn't eat a big meal at night because it will lead to us holding on to those calories rather than burning them off. But actually, there's another really good reason that we shouldn't eat large meals late at night. And actually, it's not just large meals, you shouldn't be eating your dinner too late anyway. And when I looked into this, what I found was super, super interesting. If you've ever had like a really heavy dinner late at night, or maybe you've eaten after 8, 9, maybe 10 o'clock sometimes, and you've woken up feeling like you're not well rested, then actually that makes complete sense, because as humans, after we eat a meal, a lot of our blood running around our system, supplying our brain and every other part of our body with oxygen and all of that goodness, rushes to the stomach to aid the organs in digesting your meal. So if we think about that 8-hour window that we're sleeping being the prime time for your body to do all the good things like detoxing all your organs, repairing all your cells, and all of that good stuff that we need our body to do every single night to keep us functioning as healthy, happy humans. If you're going to bed on a full stomach, then you're actually robbing your body of that detoxification process. You're actually taking all that blood, all that oxygen away from all the cells that need repairing and detoxing, and you're bringing it to your stomach where you've just eaten a big meal and it needs digested, so it needs all that blood and that oxygen, that energy to digest that big meal you just had. what happens to the rest of your cells? Your brain needs all that blood to repair itself. There's so many fascinating podcasts on it. I'll actually link a few below where they discuss this. Sean Stevenson's sleep podcasts are absolutely amazing. It's where I've learned most of my information about sleep. He's just a genius. He's got so many great guests on his show as well. So I will link them below if you want to know more about how your body repairs itself at night and why it's important not to go to bed with a full stomach, and all the amazing things your body does at night. And why sleep is so important. But anyway, try not to have a big meal before bed because it's likely to be contributing to any grogginess or like just feeling of lethargy and not, you know, when you're not feeling as bright as you want to be in the morning. So on my mindful bedtime routine, I am always trying to eat before 7 o'clock. The next one on the list is one that we all know super well, and we hear it circulating all the time, especially with the insurgence of smartphones everywhere, social media apps, you know, just taking over. We are often on our phones till late at night. In fact, I don't know anyone who doesn't sit in bed at night and just have a mindless scroll through their Instagram or their Twitter feed or whatever. So we've all heard about blue light. It's that light that comes out the back of our mobile phones, our laptops, our tablets, and it actually mimics daytime. So when the eyeball receives the blue light, it actually tricks it into thinking it's daytime. So when all the lights are going dim and all the world is turning dark for bedtime, our nocturnal rest, when you've got that tablet, that blue light in front of you, it's actually telling your brain something totally different to what it should be thinking about going to bed soon, winding down, relaxing. It's tricking it into thinking that you need to be awake. It's morning, daytime, 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 daytime. So blue light's evil, blah, blah, blah. We have a rule, no phones after 10 p.m. Simple as. And also extending that rule into no phones in bed. That's not so much to do with sleep, that's just more of like an intimacy thing. We're trying to preserve the relationship and the bed space for just sex and sleeping, which I think is also a really great tip. People often will watch movies in bed, they'll go through their latest Netflix series, and actually I think that it's a really I don't want to sound like an asshole because I do it too. Like only the other night me and Nate just binged on Succession in bed on the laptop, and I was like so into it. I think we got through like 3 episodes, and by the time we turned off the laptop it was about 1 a.m. and you know what? We both woke up feeling super groggy, like we hadn't wound down and we were tossing and turning before we actually got to sleep. So it does speak for itself. Try and reserve the bed for just sleep and sex, because otherwise your brain will start associating the bed space with other activities, and that's exactly what you do not want. You want your body to know when it comes to bed it's actually going to go to sleep. Speaking of this mindful bedtime routine, I want to speak about routines, schedules. A bedtime schedule is actually a really, really good idea for you. If you do struggle to sleep, then having a schedule, something that you can adhere to every week, so you know that by 9 p.m, 7 p.m. you've had your dinner, 9 p.m. you've had your shower, 10 p.m. you're in your pajamas and actually you're going to think about going to bed in the next 60 minutes, 11 p.m. you're in bed. Those sort of routines, we have muscle memory, our brain and our bodies get used to them. So if you can try and stick to a routine, then your circadian rhythm is going to be so much more happy. The more you can stick to it, the more you can make it a habit, that's when your body will just actually end up adapting, and it can be a real savior for someone who is struggling to sleep or struggling to get quality of sleep. If your schedule's erratic, maybe have a look at that, because scheduling yourself in for bedtime, essentially like a child, can actually do you the world of good. We all have circadian rhythms, and putting that out of joint, even for one night, so say like you're out in the town till like 3 a.m, 2 a.m. one night, and you're back late and you're sleeping in late, you're not going to feel as rested getting up because you've actually knocked your circadian rhythm out of whack, and it's actually quite similar to jet lag. So if you can try and get a scheduled sleep pattern in and stick to it for a few weeks, then you're definitely going to see the benefits, I think, because we need to maintain our circadian rhythms. Our bodies expect sleep for a certain time every day because they want to repair, they want to detox us, they want to keep us fit and healthy. Some pre-bedtime rituals that I really like. A bath is always a really good option. Not too hot, but you want it to be warm, and that's because when you step into a bath, you warm up. When you leave the bath, your body actually tries to cool itself down, and it actually mimics what your body does naturally when it falls asleep. That's why a bath is actually a really nice way to wind down before bed. I absolutely adore putting Epsom salts into my bath. I'll link the ones, or I'll link all the bath products I use down below, because I absolutely love Epsom salts. They're a great way to detoxify the body and soak up all that good magnesium. And we'll talk about magnesium in a minute, because I found one that I'm like committed to for the rest of my life, and I really want to share it with you guys, because believe me, I've tried them all. I find something that really helps me to sort of like empty my mind of thoughts before I go to bed is to actually run through my day before I go into bed. So, you know, go through everything, anything that's like been niggling in the back of my mind that I might have not thought, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna pigeonhole that, I'm just gonna like put that on the shelf for now. Go back to it before you get into bed, run through everything, decide what your day is gonna look like tomorrow. I like to plan my tomorrow today, and I write it all down. Sometimes people like writing in a diary, so just try and empty your mind of thoughts, have all those like that rumination, all that stuff that you shelve throughout the day that you're going to revisit, because 9 times out of 10, if you don't deal with it, if you get in bed, then it's just suddenly it's all you can think about. So I find writing down my tomorrow today, or like just going through everything that happened in the day, like getting it out kind of like an exorcism, you know, just so you're not plowed with thoughts the minute you kind of try and relax. Speaking of busy brains, we live in a world where it's just information overload all the time. We're constantly having information in front of our eyeballs, we're absorbing it, our brains do not get a break. I've also got something that I've been using for 3 years now, and it's called the Calm app, and it's a really amazing app. This woman called Tamara started it a few years ago, and it started with a simple sort of meditation practice guides. So they've got loads of different meditations, whether you're anxious, whether you are struggling to sleep, whether you've got a fear of flying, whether you need confidence, or you're grieving. There's so many on there. It's amazing, and it's such an amazing app. Like, I do subscribe, I pay yearly to be part of this app, because not only that, they've got these amazing sleep stories as well. So bedtime stories essentially for adults that are told by, oh my god, Stephen Fry does the most amazing lavender fields narration, which actually inspired me to go to Provence this year. And actually whacking one of them on, just I've found to be amazing to just sort of take my brain away from all the busy thoughts that go inside me, because when I go to sleep, I'm the type of person that just runs through everything. It kind of like steals my mind away, and actually I pay attention to the story, which is interesting enough to like listen to, but not that interesting enough that you're not going to fall asleep, if you get my drift. She's also got really amazing sleep meditations that you can put on, and it's like deep sleep relax, so you go through like relaxing different parts of your body. It's just the most amazing app. If you haven't tried it, I really urge you to do it. I will link it down below. It really has helped me. So times when I've done everything else I can think of, I just reach for this app. I'll do like a sleep meditation, deep sleep release, or I'll listen to a story, and it really helps. Okay guys, let's talk about inside the bedroom now. There's so many contributing factors inside the bedroom that can actually affect the quality of sleep we have. It can be everything from the wall colour to what your bed is like, the material of your sheets, the smell, the light, the sound, all of it. So I've really worked hard to make my bedroom a sort of like haven space. The walls are white, the bed is grey, a soft grey, and the bedding is 100% cotton or 100% linen. I honestly cannot sleep in synthetic fibres. It messes with my basal body temperature and actually disrupts me a lot during the night. If you're not sleeping in natural fibres, then it can trap heat, and like I said before, your body needs to be of a cool temperature in order to stay asleep. Scent is really important for me. I don't tend to put candles in the bedroom too much, just because sometimes they can give off fumes and I don't want to like pollute the airways essentially. But what I found is a really nice thing to have in my bedroom is a diffuser. I got one from Muji, and it comes with a pack of aromatherapy oils like lavender, bergamot, and obviously you can buy any scents you want, and you just drop them into the diffuser, and you can set it to like an hour, 2 hours, and it just gives off scented vapor into the air. And smells can be so relaxing, especially smells like lavender. Just be aware, if you do have a dog, sometimes essential oils can be toxic to them. So just be aware and check out the essential oils you're buying before, because it's certain types. All right, let's talk about a bed. I have a Simba mattress. I've had it since February when we moved in. We decided to upgrade the size of our bed from king size to super king, because both being restless sleepers and me being someone who gets quite disturbed during the night if someone's next to me, we wanted as much space as possible. I'll link the one that I've got down below. It's designed so when someone makes a move over this side, the ripple effect or like the vibrations of movement doesn't affect the person sleeping over here. That's what it's supposed to do. That also depends on your bed frame though. You gotta make sure your bed frame is super tight, otherwise it will move. But yeah, it's a really great mattress. I can 100% recommend it. So we've also got pillows from Simba as well. I'll link the ones down below. I personally really like them. I'm a back sleeper, which is apparently the best position that you should sleep in because it means your body is in a straight line. Nate actually sleeps on his side, so he sometimes uses 2 pillows to keep him a little bit higher. Now I want to tell you one of the best sleeping hacks I have ever discovered, and that is, my friends, separate duvets. If you are watching this and you live in Scandinavia, you probably already do this. Apparently they've been doing this for decades, and us Brits are just weird duvet sharers. Like, why on earth would you share a duvet with someone when you can have your own? I went to Denmark 2 years ago, and I remember seeing the 2 separate duvets on a double bed, and I thought it was so weird. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of nice, you know? But I've since actually tried it on our bed, and it is a bloody godsend, especially someone for me who really struggles with sharing a bed in general. I get so much less disturbed in the night when I have my own duvet, because any movement that Nate makes, he's in his own duvet. He's pulling his own duvet over his head, he's shuffling around in his own duvet, and there I am on my side in my own bed bubble with my own duvet. Oh my god, guys, I cannot even stress how amazing this is. When we make the bed in the morning, we just roll the duvet up and we put it over the end of the bed. We look like one of those fancy showroom beds where they've got like 2 duvets, and you're like, who the fuck ever has 2 duvets on their bed? Yeah, I would love my bed to look as fancy as that West Elm, but we are those people now. We have the duvet draped over the end. But oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's such a good sleep hack. I basically don't see him in the night, which is, I love you, babe, but that's exactly what I want. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is sleep aids in the form of like tablets or supplements, medicines, all of that sort of thing. There's so many pills out there, and I know you guys, you can go to your doctor, you can get sleeping pills. I would always advise against that in the first instance. They can be quite addictive. Also, you need to up the dosage the longer you're on them, and then sometimes you wind up being in a position where you can't live without them. In the first instance, I would always recommend a natural supplement. I know that they're not always strong enough and they don't always work well enough, but actually, guys, I feel like having tested most of the natural supplements out there, I found one which is incredible. Like, incredible. I couldn't even believe it. But saying that, a lot of natural supplements also leave you feeling quite groggy in the morning, which isn't always ideal. Sometimes if you're on different medications, you can't take a lot of the natural ones. I have found one which I swear by. It is just the bee's knees. I talked about it at a panel talk I did the other day, and literally afterwards so many people came up to me to get the name of this sleep supplement because it is that good. Like, I couldn't stop talking about it. Okay, so I've got an empty pack here. I buy this, I say every 6 weeks I buy them. I'm talking about the Sweet Dreams food supplement by Dr. David Jack. Dr. David Jack is an aesthetic doctor, but he also has a most incredible line of like serums, moisturizers, face masks. He also does a load of beauty supplements. I think he's got like a protein powder, and he's got hair, skin and nail supplements. But anyway, I haven't tried those, but I have tried these and I can vouch for them. It's the most incredible balance of magnesium, zinc, vitamin B, and I think vitamin C as well, yes. And that's all. It's just literally a bunch of vitamins, and the effect it has on you when you take them. Now, the serving size is actually 3 capsules every night, but I wouldn't recommend that in the first instance. I'd say take 1. If you need to, take 2. If you really need, take 3, because I can get to sleep and have a great sleep on just 2 sometimes. It's literally just a bunch of vitamins, and within about 5 minutes of taking these with water, this is me. And I just feel it like wash over my brain, my body relaxes. So magnesium is amazing for cardiovascular health. It regulates blood pressure, it can regulate your cholesterol levels. It also regulates muscle function throughout the body, and that includes your heart, which is responsible for all your cardiovascular health. It's a super essential element that I don't think we make it ourselves, to be honest. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, taking a magnesium supplement at night is just, I don't know how, and I've spoken to him since I've tried them because I'm like fangirling every time I see him. And I'm just like, what, how did you find it? And he's like, months of testing different formulations, different levels of the different vitamins in the pack, and they've just come to this like magic formula basically. So yeah, I buy these every 6 weeks. I love them. I keep them by my bed. Nate refuses to buy them because he's a stingy motherfucker, but sometimes I will treat him to a few Dr. David Jack's sweet dreams, because they are just, because it is a treat. It's a treat, guys. Anyway, I'll link them down below for you. So yeah, those are all my sleep hacks through my own experience, trials, research, all of that goodness. I think the takeaway is, you know, a lot of us feel like we're getting away with functioning on less sleep or disrupted sleep, you know, because after that morning coffee or after that, you know, hour of walking around, we do actually feel normal. But the long-lasting implications of not having a good sleep routine can be awful. It's actually such a focus for me now, making sure I get my 8 hours, catching up where I can, and trying to ensure the best sleep I can possibly get, because I don't want to create any more inflammation or damage on my body or my organ function or anything like that. It's a real passion point of mine. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. I'll also link everything I've mentioned, if I can, in the description box. But yeah, I would love to hear your sleep stories. What you're struggling with, maybe we can start a conversation in the comment box. And please share this video with anyone who is struggling to sleep right now. Hopefully they can relate to some of the things I've said, or try some new things in order to help themselves sleep better. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I'll be back here on my channel really, really soon, and bye for now.